Hello, my name is Kiriath, and today we're going to have a little chat about the LVO Warhammer preview, of which we currently know absolutely naff all. That's not true, actually. We do know something. We know that Teclis is going to be showing off, and we know that the pointy elves are on the way. That's Age of Sigmar stuff, which is still kind of interesting and still fun, and I'm looking forward to seeing his model fully, properly. But we don't know what it is for Warhammer 40k, and they've been surprisingly cagey this time around, because all there is a line that simply says, there'll also be some equally huge news for Warhammer 40,000. Now, what you and I define as equally huge might not be the same as what they define as equally huge. I would say the return of Teclis and what seemingly would be a complete faction for Age of Sigmar is pretty huge. Now, an equivalent for 40k, you might argue, would be, well, the same thing, like either a sub-faction or a big character returning, something along those lines. That would make the most sense. But that's not normally how this stuff works, let's be totally honest. So, I'm going to do something that's, because we don't have anything to go on, is simply just like a top 5 of things that this could possibly, maybe be. Some of it's going to be very vague, some of it's going to be very, very specific, and what I want to do is see just how close to what actually happens any of these 5 things are. So let's go. Let's get started. So, of course, one particular thing that would be quite big, or would be equally huge in terms of the return of a particular character, would be a new model for a character of some description. So, for one of the 5, and I'm going to put it at number 1 as the thing that is possible. I'm not going to go from most likely to least likely or anywhere in between, because we literally have no clue. So I'm going to say one of the 5 possibilities that it would be amazing if any of these were right, and they probably won't be, would be Ghazghkull. I mean, that would be, equally huge, provided they gave him a bigger model. Could be huge, could be a massive lad, he could be chunky now, could be prime orc material, that would be interesting. And, I would argue, that would be on par with the return of a beloved character getting a new model. That would be equally huge, I think, a new Ghazghkull. On a similar note, something that's maybe not quite the same, but something that is similar in terms of kind of overall idea, would be the return of a different character, but something a bit out of left field. Something that perhaps aligned with some of the rumours that we heard from last year. I was going to say earlier in the year, but it's not. We are pretty early in the year, last year, which would be Illuminor Xerath. Xerath? It is Xerath. Yeah, it is. Hang on. I'm going to check that just quickly, just because I don't want to get that. I'm sure that's what his name is. It's Illuminor. Yeah, Illuminor Xerath. I knew it. I was there. There's no need to panic. It was all under control. The rumour that we got last year was that he was going to be getting a new base and like a new size base, because he'd be getting a new model, like a massive model. He was going to be quite the thing to look at. That could be pretty huge. A Necron character suddenly getting a massive new model, along with which we could see an actual box set of some kind. Now, that's 1 and 2. So Ghazghkull and Illuminor Xerath. Those are the two character returns that I am placing no money on whatsoever. We could see box set. Box set does actually feel kind of likely. We had one for the Eldar and Dark Eldar. Well, Eldari, Drakari, whatever. Who cares? All the same thing, you know what I mean. We have had a box for Psychic Awakening relatively recently, but they've been very inconsistent. Some of them have had, I say some of them had them. The vast majority have not had a box set, but it kind of feels like we might be due for another sometime soon. I would have thought like every other or so would make sense, or maybe doing one and then spacing, and then another one and then spacing out. We've had a bunch of characters come out, but outside of that, nothing massive. Some sort of box set announcement would be a pretty suitable thing to reveal at LVO. That would be, I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw that at all. The factions is a bit more difficult. I don't know whether we'll see a Necron set, maybe. I mean, we keep hearing stuff about different box sets showing up. One with Orcs would be interesting. One with Orcs versus Necrons would be a bit out of left field, but it would be fun. Some sort of box, but the content's currently unknown. That would be the third thing. Now, for the final two, I think just need to go full out there, because equally huge. Dark Mechanicus? No, it's not going to be Dark Mechanicus, is it? It would be amazing if it was. I'd be so happy. Traitor Guard? Maybe? But then would they do that at LVO? Would they not wait and do that for one of their own events? I don't know. Some sort of returning faction thing would, I argue, be equally huge, but what returning faction? And do we even have a faction to return, or would it be more a case of a new faction that's similar to an existing one but not quite the same? I don't know. That would be... So let's say number 4. Let's say number 4 is something pretty out of left field, something we wouldn't expect, perhaps. Like the reveal of, say, Dark Mechanicus or Traitor Guard. Something that's quite unlikely, but would still be pretty huge news. And of course, the fifth one, there's only so much of this stuff you can talk about. It would be a Primark. No, it's not going to be a Primark. I'm pretty sure if we were going to say a Primark, we'd see something about it by now. Leaks are a thing, a pretty severe thing in some cases. The fifth thing, actually, genuinely, is that pixelated picture. That would be the thing that I would be actually surprised to see, just because that almost feels a little predictable. If we saw, like, that pixelated picture that we saw a while ago, if we saw the units from that, if we saw whatever variant of the repulsor that turned out to be, the kind of speeder type thing, the bikes that may or may not have just been normal bikes. Quite a lot of people would reckon those were just normal standard bikes, but I feel like that would almost be too predictable. And I feel like there isn't anything to be gained from just suddenly unveiling those now, because it might be a bit ahead of time. It would depend on kind of what we see in terms of things like Psychic Awakening. Yeah, I feel like that might be a bit further down the line. That might be something that was thrown out there pretty early by someone. I'm not suggesting Games Workshop did it, but that feels like something that was thrown out well early. And LVO would be a pretty big event to reveal that stuff, but I feel like that has got to tie into something far bigger than just those units. That's going to be something significant in some way. So that would be the fifth thing. So we've got a couple of characters, we've got a box set, we've got some sort of faction debut or return, but that seems very unlikely. And then we've got the contents of that highly pixelated picture. Now, if it does turn out to be that picture, that's pretty funny, because that will actually be a prediction that's come true. But I don't expect any of them necessarily to come true, because we have nothing to go on, only that it's equally huge. So really what we're doing is we're sitting and waiting, and we're thinking to ourselves, what do we think is equally huge compared to what do Games Workshop think is equally huge? Will we be disappointed? Will we be happy? I've absolutely no way of knowing. But luckily, we've only got to wait until Thursday, so it's fine. Well, technically Friday morning if you're in the UK. I think the actual thing is at some godforsaken hour of the morning, so we'll just cover it during the day. I'm not getting up at 4 o'clock in the morning. Who has time for that? Why would you? No, sleep. Sleep is better. So yeah, just random speculation, random thoughts. None of it will probably turn out to be accurate, but that's pretty par for the course around here, so it's fine. What do you reckon? What is your personal pick? What do you think you're going to see? What do you think they're going to show off? What do you think counts as equally huge for them? Do you think there's anything waiting in the wings that you would predict to be the thing that they show off at LVO? Or are you just as much in the dark as everyone else? Maybe you've just got a hope, maybe a dream, a thought, just like a kind of, it would be so nice if they did this, even if you know they wouldn't do it. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. In the meantime, feel free to click all the things, Patreon, subscribe, all that stuff, you know how it works. And of course, there's the affiliate link for Element Games in the description, where if you buy stuff, I get something saying that way. You send a bunch of money. You save between 15 and 25% off on all the Games Workshop stuff. And there's 8 million other products on that website as well. It's ridiculous how much stock they have. It's crazy. So you can do that if you like. It's entirely up to you. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.